in a fairyland called Murder. There's, well, a paintbrush, really.
Welcome Reaper Mini fans, today we are painting the Copper Dragon. This is a fantastic dragon by Reaper Miniatures. I am mounting this onto a 120mm base boss base. And today I'll be showing you the Copper Dragon. Very simple paint to paint copper, but we'll get to that a bit later on in the video. But first I'm going to add some PVA glue to all the base and add some of my stones and gravel just to bulk up that base, and then we can make a start on the miniature. So what I'll do is I'll get that base all done. I'm not going to be sticking the dragon on for now because we'll be painting this completely separate to the base, so we can make a start on the dragon while those rocks are drying with the PVA glue. So I'll come back once I've got that base all done up. Okay, for today's paint we are using a soft tone ink wash. These will be for the wings on our miniature. We're using a purple tone ink wash by Army Painter for the body of the miniature. We'll be using shining silver for highlighting. We've got turf green for the base. We've got solid black, solid white, splintered bone and some Nuln Oil. And these are all the paints and ink washes that we'll be using today to complete the Copper Dragon. To start the miniature, I'm going to be using some brass from Vallejo. We'll cover the whole miniature and give it a good primer coat with this colour. Okay, so we've got a lovely coating of brass over our whole miniature. What I've got now is I've got some purple ink wash by Army Painter, and I am going to use an old brush and go over all the body area, the tail and the arms just here and here with the purple ink wash. So we just take it on that brush and we're going to let that go into all the recesses of the miniature. And we do this over all the mini apart from those wings. Just use a tissue or cotton bud to take off any excess ink. Just like that. So we're going over the whole of the body. I'll come back once that's dried. While my ink wash is drying on my dragon, we're going to move back to the base. This is all dried now. And what I'm going to use is some paint by Pebeo. This is just a cheaper acrylic and it will save you a lot of money. You don't want to be using, you know, little pots of grey paint to do lots of terrain pieces. Now this paint I found is fantastic for painting your dioramas or your scenic bases. So all we do with this is we squirt a little bit onto our palette, like so. I've got an old dropper bottle here, and what I've done, I've filled that with water. It's a fantastic way to have water on hand, and you can just drip a few drops into your mix on your palette, and then we just mix that in and water that paint down a little bit, and then it'll go fantastic into all these stones. And if you need more water, you just add a little more to the paint. This paint as well is also very good for going on to the plastic, as you can see. Don't get any pooling, nothing. It's a nice strong acrylic based paint. And we just cover the whole base like so. So I'll get that done and then I'll come back. So our ink wash is all dry now and it looks fantastic. What we do now, we start highlighting that ink wash, and you can either paint it on or dry brush it on. And we're going back to that original colour that we used to begin with, and we're just taking it off on our dry brush. And what we're going to do is go across all the scales to highlight with that original colour. And we go against the scales. It's going over the whole mini, just on the tips, bringing out that colour again. Lovely. This gives a really nice effect to the miniature. There we are, fantastic. Just like so. So what we do now is we let that dry totally. What I'm going to do with the wings is I'm going to give them a light brown ink wash and just go over them with a light brown ink wash. But what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll finish off the scales on this dragon. For the base, I have added a black ink wash completely over the whole base, and we'll just let that dry, and then we'll come back to that one in a bit. But what we're going to do now is we're going to move straight on to our dragon and do the final highlights. Now with the dragon, as you can see, I've added that light brown ink wash to the wings. That's all I need to do with them. I think they look fantastic as they are. But we've got one final highlight going over all those scales, and that is silver, and we'll dry brush that onto the miniature now. Okay, so we've got our silver. We're going to brush this on. You can edge paint with a very fine brush if you want to, but I am doing this quite fast, and I absolutely love dry brushing my miniatures. So what I've got is my silver paint. I've got it on a nice large dry brush, and I'm just going a little bit more delicate over the certain parts of the mini, just to highlight certain areas and give a little bit of shine with that silver. As you can see, the silver is just coming through there. And we do that over all the scales of the miniature. Just a light, very light dry brush, going around the face in particular. Just like so. Fantastic. All I need to do once I've finished that is I'll be painting in all the claws black. I will paint in the eyes and the teeth, and then we'll go back and we'll work on that base. Okay, so the dragon is about done. All we need to do now is finish off this base, and what I've got here is we've got some splintered bone and some turf green by MSP. I'm going straight into the splintered bone first, and I'm going to dry brush the whole base. Just quickly go around the base area. This will highlight all those rocks. Once you've added all that splintered bone, we go straight into the turf. And we just go again around the bottom of the miniature. This gives an old effect. And we just go around all the bottom area and along the base, and we let that dry, and we go all the way around. What I'll do is I'll let this dry, I'll come back and we'll put on the foliage and some little shrubs. So I want to make my base a little bit more dramatic and add a bit of undergrowth. Well, I've got this little tub of basing material from Warlord Games, and it's got this nice little foliage here. Now you can break this to little sizes, and we just use some PVA glue and we stick it to our base. So it's very, very simple. You just get your glue on an old brush and add it into certain parts of the miniature. Placement is always good for basing your minis. Now you'd expect all the little bits to be around the bottom of the base and such. And also you can hide any mistakes or any areas that have broken away, or any parts of the base that the sand has come away on, and you can cover with foliage. So there's all sorts of ways you can use the foliage on your miniatures to help improve that base. Now I'm just going to do the front just to show you quickly what I do, and all it is you just take a little chunk of your foliage and you just stick it in. There we go, and there you go. And same again, a little bit just there. And this is great to go around your bases, especially for the bigger dioramas. They work really well, because what you can do is you can have little shrubs and some smaller parts of grass here and there going around the miniature too. But I just like to add a few little bushes just around the miniature, like so. And that's fantastic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of grass flocking, and again with the grass flocking we just add some of the PVA glue to the base, and that's all we do. Then we just sprinkle that grass onto the PVA glue, let it dry, and we're done. So all I need to do now is finish this off. I will paint around the base on the rim. I'll paint that black, and then I'll come back and show you a 360 of the finished miniature. Well, here is the finished Copper Dragon. Absolutely beautiful miniature, and came out fantastic. I really love this miniature. As you can see, I've added some more extra flocking and grass to the base. Got a few little tubs of sand and added a few little sprinkles here and there, and I've glued the dragon to the base and added that black rim to tidy up the base of the miniature. Absolutely fantastic. So there we are. This is the Copper Dragon for this week. If you enjoy what I'm doing, then please hit that sub button. If you want to support the channel, then please become a patron. All patrons are added to the end credits of all my videos. So until next time.
Goodbye, my fellow ones. Sleep well. Dream of evil paintbrushes.